Hey everyone, so I'm going to be doing a pick a card reading on what are their feelings for you right now. So I have 3 piles, and yeah, I think that's basically it. If something's not resonating with you from like a pile, then you can just go back and maybe pick another pile. But I'm just going to hover over these really quickly. Okay. Sorry, this is kind of messy. Cool. So, you could pause the video and reflect for longer if you wanted to do that. But otherwise, I'm just going to get started. Oh, wait. I didn't tell you which pile is which. So this is pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Yeah. So, cool. I'm just going to start. So for pile 1, we've got first the lock, and the watery. So then for the next deck, we have the 5 of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, and the 4 of Swords. So interesting. And then we have the 7 of Swords, the 3 of Swords, and the Ace of Cups. Okay, so how are they feeling about you? I'm getting the sense that you all are not in communication with the lock, and kind of the energy behind the 4 of Swords, which is kind of just like sitting back from a situation. Even though there are 2 people on this card, I don't think that they're related to the situation. It's like someone else, and that person is kind of how I read that. I'm getting that they're feeling kind of like blocked off from you. So you may have blocked them, or they may be kind of in their feelings about blocking you. I think that they're kind of like being sneaky and like looking at your social media, kind of keeping an eye on you. And I think maybe they also could be feeling a bit lied to, or like there's been some deception in the situation that they're really uncomfortable with. But they're feeling really grounded in their feelings for you. With this King of Pentacles, they're pretty committed to whatever's going on between you, even if things look pretty bad right now. I think they see you in the long term. The 4 of Swords, all of these cards have words at the top for association, and recuperation is with the 4 of Swords. So this is kind of a resting period where I feel like they're just taking a moment to gather themselves from everything that's gone on with you. So if this is a situation where you all were kind of at odds for a while, and something went wrong, I am seeing that. I mean, they had this 3 of Swords, so that's just before the 4 of Swords, so like they are kind of moving from heartbreak into recuperation. And they're really in their feelings with this Ace of Cups. They have a lot of feelings for you. They're kind of young and like they're not like 10 of Cups feelings right now. And I think that's also because their heart could be a little blocked off. especially with this lock. Like, I think the lock kind of being in the center kind of feels like it's very heart related. So I think that even if you all are in contact, there's a level of distance that they're keeping from things regarding you. And then with the Five of Pentacles, there's also this insecurity. So they're feeling insecure, even though they're this King of Pentacles and they're motivated, they're really dedicated to you. There's kind of just like this hesitation and lack of footing that they're kind of feeling, like maybe it's all just them. Yeah, which I think is they're really being kind of not making any moves towards you because of this emotion of the Three of Swords. And if this is a situation where they betrayed you, then they're just kind of taking a step back because they kind of realized their misstep. If they betrayed you or hurt you, it was like a misstep on their behalf. Like, they didn't have the intention of hurting you. It's not what I'm getting here, but they might just be someone who struggles on a level of aligning their values with their actions. So I'm getting immature energy, especially with the little, and it could also be that they are thinking of you as immature, but I think that it could be them that's immature. And with the watery, they could be a water sign, so Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, or have heavy water placements in their chart. But with the King of Pentacles, I'm also feeling earth. We have 2 Pentacle cards here and 3 swords, 1 cup. So it could be really evenly all over the place, but I think with something explicitly saying the watery, I'm getting water energy. So yeah, I think that they're feeling kind of as though they can't reach out to you, and so that's why they are just kind of looking at your profile. They're taking their space and recuperating. So yeah, let me look at your channeled kind of lyrics. I made this deck, so it's just kind of experimental, but I'm going to make a more official oracle deck, I think. This is just like lyrics from a playlist that I made. I don't even remember what all of the lyrics are from. But okay, so this one is: all I want is comfort in a touch or a look. All I want is to get back the closeness you took. I know that's the way you appreciate me, even though we haven't spoken lately. Yeah, so yeah, I think that this was you kind of taking a step back. Maybe you blocked them. And like, I mean, do what you have to do, and I really support that. Like, no matter what they're feeling, if you're feeling unsafe or betrayed, heal yourself, kind of do the work that they're doing, recuperate from everything. The next one is: can't do without your tender love. There's no way out, and I can't help the way that I feel. I just can't help the way that I feel. So yeah, they're pretty stuck on you. I think that regardless of what's going on right now, it's like this King of Pentacles, like firmly rooted. They're really in it when it comes to you. You will never have to wander far. You will never have to want more. I will make sure to find it in my heart. I will make sure that you are never lost. That's sweet. So they're kind of just there's like this promise that if you were to come back, like whatever has happened, they want to really treasure you, and they want you to know that they'll always do the work to make sure that you feel their love and feel cared for when you're with them. So yeah, so that's what I have for you all. Thanks so much for watching. If you also felt drawn to another pile, that's totally cool. And If not, I look forward to seeing you or reading for you again. Thank you. So I'm moving on to pile 2. Hi, pile 2. So, just jumping right in. We have the sand and the twin. Then we have, leaving these messages last, the 6 of Swords, the Chariot, and the 6 of Wands. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles, Death, and the Knave of Wands. Okay, so this person feels like you're a reflection of themselves. They feel as though you are incredibly similar to them, and maybe they do believe in the twin flame journey or something like that. If they're kind of an esoteric person, then they could actually think that you're their twin, or a very strong like soul connection, something like that. But they definitely see a lot of themselves in you, and they feel very tied to you. Twins are just very tied to each other. And then with the sand, I also think they see you as someone that's that they can't pin down. There's no way to secure sand. It's very fluid, and even though it's earth, it's not grounded. So I think they could see you as someone who isn't really someone that they could firmly plant roots. It's just kind of and I feel like that's kind of the energy of, especially in these twin flame journeys. If you all believe in those, then I think that this could be kind of that sort of relationship. So we have the 6 of Swords, the Chariot, the 6 of Wands. And at the top of each of these cards, there's a word association. So there's ascendancy for the 6 of Swords, conclusion for the Chariot, and then triumph for the 6 of Wands. So, with 2 6s here, it's kind of related to balance, and I think especially with the twin, that's another mirrored energy, but I think it feels as though the situation is lacking balance for them. And so it's they would want the situation to become more balanced, whether that's emotionally. Maybe someone is doing more work for the relationship, and it just kind of feels like the push and pull, it's just off, and the giving and taking, it's off. So I'm going to look into the guidebook for this deck for a little bit about this Chariot card. Through self-analysis, you have learned to appreciate the voice within. You understand the needs and desires of your ego, and are capable of silencing its voice and demanding that it regard you with deference. For you are far greater than it could ever be. You are aware of the gulf of ultimate sadness in life through the knowledge of ephemeral and transient situations. So I think that they made an ego-based decision to kind of, in how they handled everything with you. And I think that they were the one that was out of balance on this. And so they're kind of like coming to this conclusion and realizing in this situation that they were acting out of fear and sort of in reaction rather than like from like a heart-centered place. So I think, and this is kind of like harder to put my finger on because the nature of this journey looks very spiritual, especially with this death card. I think that you all are in like a cycle where things are just becoming like undergoing a big transformation, whatever that may be. And it looks like there was kind of an ending. I'm going to get 2 more cards for this really quickly. So I have the Knight of Swords and the Empress. Okay, so they really feel like you are very abundant, and you might be a Cancer. I'm kind of getting this is your energy. Or they could be a Cancer with the Chariot here. And the only other characters I really have out here are just knights. I have the Knight of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, and I guess I have the Knave of Wands. So it's kind of immature energy, and I think that they're recognizing that that was kind of what they were giving you. So while you were kind of in this Empress energy, and they saw that as you, they weren't really on the same page, and that can happen a lot. So there was just this imbalance where you were obviously kind of, the Six of Wands is like a very successful and like accomplished, kind of like racing forward type of like person. You're, it's recognizable that you are just like great. And then the Six of Swords is usually kind of something of retreating for like a spiritual lesson or journey, or because a situation is just overwhelming, and I feel as though they were a little bit overwhelmed by the type of person you are. With the Chariot here, especially, Cancers are very like race forward. There's no stagnance. There's no there's not exactly like any chill, I think, with a Cancer. And so they kind of had this retreating energy, and you had this pushing forward energy. With the Six of Swords and the Six of Wands, I think that's like the imbalance. It was like you came forward and then they kind of pulled back. And so, but you kept going forward, and that was kind of just like not the energy that they were resonating with. So that's where this cycle ended. And I think that that's kind of what they're feeling right now is finally, if they pulled away and they thought that that was the decision to make, they're at this point kind of coming to terms with everything that happened, and just like the nature of your fluidity with the sand. It was like you didn't really like sit there for too long and cry over this, which they were surprised about. I think that they thought that you would be the type of person who would react for like a long time, especially with the amount of like passion and energy you were coming forward with. But instead you kind of you just like float onward, which yeah. So so I think they're still they are still invested in you. With this Knight of Pentacles, there's a hesitant energy where they're kind of hesitating, like, do I really uninvest? Like, I have actually really believed in our connection for a while, and I'm really shocked that this person just kind of pulled away. Like, this is my twin, and we're supposed to be incredibly similar, so how are they not struggling with this to the extent that I'm struggling with this? Why was it so easy for them to just like pull out of this connection, which is kind of an illusion. It's just that you did a lot of work that they were not doing, because you are the sort of person who is like confronting everything, and they're the sort of person who is like a little bit avoidant. So they're also trying to balance their confrontation of their feelings for you, and then like their desire to kind of avoid thinking about the situation completely. They don't exactly know how to handle what they're feeling. Um, but they're remaining distant and just kind of like keeping on this sort of like death cycle. And I think it's that they also don't see this as over. They have the impression that you're going to be coming back around, because that's kind of what I'm getting from this death card. Um, they really want to rush in to talk to you. At this point, they're kind of caving. And it's because they see you as the Empress. They see you as like that other like part of them. And so let me see what's at the bottom of this deck actually. The Emperor. Oh my god, I kind of had this feeling. Yeah, so um, this is really, I don't know, I guess I kind of do a little, I feel as though it's one of those sort of twin journeys. So yeah, they're really recognizing that at this point. And they want to talk to you with this Knave of Wands. That's kind of a messenger energy. But they also just are kind of uh, like looking at the situation, like what would they say? Like what would you react like? They can't pin you down. And they're just like really kind of in a frenzy. I think they're both the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords. So the slowest knight and the fastest knight. And it's put them at this sort of like standstill. Like, do I run away or do I run towards? With the Chariot, it's like which way do I drive my chariot? So that's really what I'm getting for you all. And so your channeled messages are nothing lasts forever, and I told you everything you need to know that's not true. Lying to myself because it hurts you, waiting for the simple chance to come through. Yeah, so I guess this really, it echoes what I was saying. So I think that they kind of are a little bit bitter, actually, about the way that you've handled the situation and how you've moved on and how you're not like groveling or like hoping for them to come back. And they kind of are just like, it seems like they're a little bit stubborn about everything. They might be a really stubborn person. You will feel my love when the time comes. Hear me say, you will feel my love when the time comes. And it's kind of this promise that like eventually they are just going to cave and get back to you, because they can't get you out of their mind. No, I never want to say to you what I keep inside, because when I think about it, you don't know me like you say you do. You see it too. So this is like going back to that thing where they're like, you're supposed to be a reflection of me, and yet you're handling this in a completely different way than I expected. Like, you're not handling this in the way that I'm handling it. And I thought that I could predict like the type of person that you are, but it looks like I can't. You're just completely removed from the situation. And so because of this like sort of the way that you are handling this being so unexpected, they kind of are getting this feeling like maybe I didn't know you at all. Maybe like you didn't know me at all. Like, and if you knew me, then you might be like treating me differently right now. So yeah, this person, I think they're kind of on this immature energy, and I would see like what is really going on in their head. If they did come forward to you, I would just try to see like, are you in a mature place? Like, can you actually handle this? Like, what sort of energy are they coming at you with? Because like, you don't want someone who wants you to be stuck on them. Like, that's just kind of gross. So that's what I have for you. Thank you so much for checking this out. And I hope I see you, or I hope I can read for you in another video. Have a great rest of your day or night. And I'm moving on to pile 3. Hey, pile 3. So I'm just going to jump right in. We've got the rain, the dream, then we have the Page of Swords, Eon, and the King of Wands. And then there is the World, the King of Pentacles, and the Four of Cups. Okay. So at the top of each of these cards, there's an associated word. And so for this one, we have decomposition. For Eon, we have realization. And for the King of Wands, we have restriction. Just to keep those in mind. But okay, so they may be having a lot of dreams about you, or they may see you as kind of a dream. They may see like their time with you as kind of a dream as well. Maybe you all had a very romantic kind of coming together, but it's just sort of like that. It's like, where are you now kind of energy. Like, did I dream that? Why is the energy so different at this point? Yeah, they're really discontent. With the Four of Cups here, I think that they just feel pretty dissatisfied with maybe like the situation and how it's turned out. It doesn't look like a very emotional thing, and they may be caught in this may be an earth sign. The King of Pentacles is standing out to me a lot. So, like, whenever something's not super emotional, I kind of think of, like, earth signs where they're more just, like, practical. It's like love is kind of an investment, you know. So, you could be dealing with an earth sign. But we also have this King of Wands here. So, I think they feel, like, very like sexually drawn to you, and maybe they're like thinking of you that way right now. And like with this dream thing, I'm kind of connecting like that maybe they're kind of like visiting you in their sleep is something that I'm kind of getting. Decomposition. This Page of Swords is particularly adventurous and takes a leap of faith. There isn't a lot of like thought put into things. It's just sort of like, I don't know, like maybe it'll work out and maybe it won't. And so I think that's been their energy towards you, but maybe it just hasn't turned out how they had hoped. With the World, I think there's like a completion of cycles. And so this could be someone that you have been involved with for a time, and like maybe they come in and out as seasons come in and out. I'm gonna get 2 more cards from this deck and then 2 more from the other deck. So we have the Four of Swords and the Six of Swords, and then the Nine of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups. So I think this is your energy where you have everything all together. You're really emotionally emotionally strong and an independent type of person. You have um, everything lined up for you. Like you may be someone who's very successful in your career field, or you're like doing well for yourself and you kind of like live luxuriously. Um, you could be an earth sign with water in your chart, or a water sign with earth in your chart, as another thing that I'm seeing. So recuperation and ascendancy, it looks like they're kind of taking their distance from the situation because things went sour. Um, with the Four of Swords and the Six of Swords, the Six of Swords is kind of about retreat and getting out of a stressful situation, and the Four of Swords is kind of about like not really thinking about that situation, like kind of like taking space from I think it's raining. Um, taking space from that as well, like mental space, like not spending too much time reflecting on it. So I'm also kind of getting that this person's just impulsive, and maybe there was something kind of impulsive about the way that you all got together in whatever capacity that was. Like it could have been a hookup, or it could have been just that you all jumped into a relationship without too much thought. And I mean, they are kind of stably placed. I'm getting a stubborn energy out of this person too. I'm going to read for Eon because the card at the center always piques my interest the most, and I'm not fully versed in Eon. You are realizing a fresh inner energy. A new clarity will enable you to concentrate on subtle messages that evaded you before. You will find an ability to sympathize with others and put yourself in their place. You need to mentally classify and order your thoughts, which will allow you to use inventive ideas in unusual ways. This fresh inspiration is your first encounter with the spirit of quintessence, the fifth sense. You will notice the energy passing between people as they meet and part, exchanging different vibrations which are clearly visible in their movements. Okay, so I think this person's like kind of realizing a lot about things with you. I think they're really like hurt about the way that something went, and they're maybe jarred by it. I think that they kind of jumped into the situation because it just seemed like it would be really good, but then something went really wrong about it, and that's why they rushed away. Like the Six of Swords is like a rushing away type of energy, where I think of the Eight of Cups as like walking away, just kind of like, okay. And then the Six of Swords is like, I've got to get away from this, it's hurting me. And with this King of Pentacles, I think that he's like a king that's very guarded. Like this pentacle covers his heart. So I think that they are just kind of like protecting themselves at this point. And with the King of Wands, restriction as like the associated words, I think that they are number one, restricting contact with you. So they may just completely not want to talk to you, but they're also restricting this relationship. I think that even if they are meeting you in their dreams, and if they are dreaming about you, there's a lot of negative energy in their conscious about everything that happened with you. And I think that they're like pretty upset and pretty feeling, I just like I'm not getting great energy from this. But I think it's all based on themselves. Like I think they see you as someone who is great by all measures. You are a queen and you're the Nine of Pentacles in their eyes. But there was just something about the way that you all met up that like triggered something in them. Their fight or flight was triggered, and it could be because like this connection was very faded in a way. Let me see at the bottom of the deck. We've got Ace of Swords with Seven of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, and the Three of Swords. Um, this is a very kind of like elusive deck. You all, um, I think, also really just surprised them. Something about you was surprising. Seven of Wands, Magian, Ten of Cups, Eight of Cups. Oh, interesting. So it's kind of like this energy of they got very defensive, and they were kind of like putting on this mask because they thought that they had the Ten of Cups, but there was just something in them that wasn't healed. I think they're having a lot of like realizations about themselves and the way that they are involved in relationships that's caused them to kind of pull away from you, and they just can't really focus on a relationship right now. I have the Eight of Cups here too, so it's like they really had to walk away and do some like growth inwardly. With the Three of Swords, they're really heartbroken about this though. So they're really heartbroken about you. And they're just like very like defensive. They're very like stressed about like their actions in things, and I think their reactions to you, they realized that they were like kind of unfair and that they were based on the things within themselves that they needed to heal. So yeah, they just have a lot to heal and a lot to work on inside, and that's what they're realizing. They have a lot of lessons to learn for themselves, and they feel bad for involving you in those. They feel bad for how they treated you and that they gave you this immature energy, but they really can't seem to think about doing anything about that. I don't think they'll approach you. I don't think they want to approach you right now because you really did trigger a lot of like realization in them about like who they are and where they are, and that they have a lot more growth to like go through before they're ready for something like this Ten of Cups that they were trying to pursue with you. And so it's not really exactly a personal read, but it is related to you just in that like the way that they were treating you or reacting to you was kind of just based on things within themselves. But they do realize your worth and that you are like this like really great person. But I think that they also at the same time kind of want to keep blaming you um, for how everything went and what they're going through with themselves, because it's kind of easier. They're in the process of realizing what's them and what they need to work on, but they're also kind of in this immature energy still. So, channeled messages. I just need myself to love myself. So, yeah, working on themselves. My mind has been divided and I've been questioning myself. Can't keep on hesitating. It's starting to affect my health. Hard to resist, harder to give up my bad habits. Why do I go losing control? What am I looking for? Yeah, so I think that they're just kind of like really okay, there's also I need your love and I need your touch. Like I need a bolt of lightning from the sky above. So that's kind of like I don't need those things right now because like they're like comparing it to like getting struck by lightning. Um and so like that kind of is yeah, going back to just that they need to be alone and deal with these things whether or not they're going to actually be alone. I think that this person could, because of how they are like blaming you for their own um like internal conflicts, like they could think like that there are more simple relationships or something. You all may have had a very complex relationship and like they um, might tie all of the transformation that they need to be undergoing to you specifically. Um, and so they may have like a lot of resentment that way. Um, my mind has been divided and I've been questioning myself. Yeah, I think that they're like, what, like, why do I go losing control? What am I looking for? It's kind of like, why did they end things with you? Why couldn't it just work out? Because it looks as though like there's just like, on paper you're their type, you know, and that like everything about you and about your relationship was fulfilling, but it's like what is it, like what am I looking for is what they're asking themselves, and they don't, maybe haven't fully realized, but they're in the process of realization that they're looking for themselves. And so it's like hard to resist, harder to give up my bad habits. um yeah, so doing these sorts of impulsive things for them, it's just like, this is just like how they are as is, and they're still kind of in this state of making excuses. um they are someone who just like is stuck in their ways as of right now, but I think you really like um kind of triggered an awakening. So as of right now, that's kind of where they are with you. um Thanks so much, pile 3. I hope you got something out of that. It's not a really happy love reading, but you know, like things do change, and also like there could be someone coming in for you right now, um, and you may think that this person is it, but you know, like you never know. And I mean, this person could like really grow up in like a period of time, and we can just hope that for them, like regardless of if it's for you or for someone else, because it just does look like they're not in a great place. So you not being involved with them is probably like to your benefit. um, Thank you so much for watching. I'll be posting more pick a card readings like on the daily, so stay tuned, and I hope to see you again. Bye.